Hello my friends, this is Mike again, today with a short and first review of the newest expansion pack for the EZDrummer2 from Toontrack, the Alt-Rock Alternative Rock EZX, which they released this week, and I immediately grabbed a copy of that because I think it's really sounds cool. First of all, I want to excuse about the poor sound quality of my voice. Actually, I'm on the road again, I'm not at home in my studio where I have my decent audio interface in my microphone, so I had to pick this some kind of crappy lavalier microphone, and you maybe hear some background noise, but I will fix that later on in the post-production. Anyway, this video is not about my voice, it's about the samples. I've loaded up the instance of EZDrummer2 with the Alternative Rock EZX loaded up. Usually I use even the EZDrummer expansions within Superior Drummer, but for the sake of this video I will show you the EZDrummer2 interface, so you feel comfortable watching this, and probably most of you guys will use EZDrummer anyway. So first of all, some facts. This pack was produced in comparison with in a co-working situation from Toontrack and Steve Albini. For all of you who don't know Steve Albini, go and check him out. One of the most sought after and talented mixing and producing engineers out there. He's a musician as well. He has worked with A-list clients like the Manic Street Preachers, Jimmy Plant, Nirvana back in the 90s. So Steve really is a cool guy, great guy. You see some of interviews, go check him out on YouTube. And that Toontrack got him working on this project is really cool, because usually Steve is someone really digging the old analog style recording, like Analog Desk and stuff like that. So having him working on a digital sample pack is quite great, and Steve definitely knows how to record drums and how to get a great drum sound. The drums were recorded in his own studios, Electrical Audio. You will find all those informations and some background information on Toontrack's Toontrack website. Go check them out, it's definitely worth a look. So let's dive into the pack. We have basically two setups. It's one a DW Collector's kit and one Ludwig kit, but just like in every other expansion, Toontrack put some additional samples, especially for the kick and the snare. So let's dive into this. You see we have 4 kick drums. This is the kind of the default kick drum, DW Collector's 16 by 24 inch. So quite modern sounding with a lot of clicky attack, nice low end due to the big size. Then we have the second default kit. This is the Ludwig Club Date. Kind of that more open 70s sound, and the same kick drum with a fluffy beater. Additionally, we have that great use a custom 16 by 22. Snare-wise, we have, I think it's 7 snare drums, different manufacturers, some really cool stuff. And this is something what I really always take care of when thinking of getting a new expansion pack for Superior Drummer, because some of you might know I own quite a lot of them. If I can get some additional sounds that I haven't yet. This time Toontrack really picked some, together with Steve, really cool samples. So the default snare drum, this Ludwig 1927, is one of my favorites, even after one day of testing this one. Really fat, deep sound. Let's have a listen. I will provide some more detailed audio examples later on this video, but let's go on showing those samples. This is the same snare, just damped. Another Ludwig. DW Collector's Maple Kit. The Tama Star Classic Maple, really a classy one. And those two piccolo snares really rare on some expansions, but they give a nice addition in sound and sound options you have, especially for those kind of music where you sometimes need just a really high-pitched, cracky piccolo snare. So really great. Tom-wise, this is quite interesting because you see here from the slot for Rec Tom 1, this is a 12 by 14 Gradius A custom floor tom, and when you go to Rec Tom 2, you will see a 14 by 15 DW Collector series. And 14 by 15, this is usually for all you drummers out there, sometimes your biggest floor tom. For example, I think Yamaha has some kind of those sizes as a secondary floor tom. So really huge sizes for the Rec Toms. And when you go on to the floor toms for that setup, you see 16 by 16 for the first floor tom and a 16 by 18. So you really have a big, low, fat tom setup. Let's have a listen. Really great, but they will give you some more options. The cool thing about EZDrummer, for every expansion pack, some of you might know that you can choose and put any of those toms to any of those slots, so you don't need to have to use that setup. So we can audition to all those samples and just on that Rec Tom 1 slot here. The second one, common sizes for a Rec Tom 9 by 10 Gradius A custom. Alternative for the Rec Tom 2 is the Ludwig Club Date. You can have some funky high tone toms using this. Again, the floor tom 1 and 2, some smaller sizes, 14 by 14 and a 16 by 16 from Ludwig. So you have a more like a vintage vibe to those samples in comparison to the DW collectors. For the cymbals, this is one thing I really am excited about because finally Toontrack made it happen to add some minor, really cool minor bison cymbals into those packs. The cymbals, especially from all Toontrack products, are really great. They're very detailed. You get a lot of sizes, a lot of different manufacturers from Paiste, Zildjian, Sabian, but they never managed to integrate some minor cymbals and don't know why. But minor cymbals are really cool. I simply love them. So it's good to have just the option here to pick them. The basic setup, I will just show the hi-hat. You see is the Paiste Giant Beat series, which you find here on the cymbal slots. 18-inch for Crash 2, 1 and the 20-inch for the secondary crash. So this is a kind of a classical grunge alternative rock setup. Those washy and warm and dark Paiste Giant Beat series are really great stuff. They cut through easily through every mix. So let's have a listen at those Paiste hi-hats. And then we have a 13-inch Meinl Bison's medium. You see here just two hi-hats, but I think they will work, depends on the song what you need, but you can have some dark washy from that Paiste or some higher pitched if you need some more crack or some more focus and attacked sound. Same for the cymbals, 18-inch Paiste Giant Beat, awesome cymbal. And what I want you to listen to is what I simply love on all Toontrack products is the greatness of detail where the samples were recorded. You know, there are so many different companies providing drum samples, great drum samples. I simply love Steven Slade drums or Addictive drums as well, but no other company provide that detailed amount of samples. So just have a listen again when I hit this cymbal, listen at that decay, how that cymbal really naturally flows out into the room. Really cool stuff. And when using those samples within Superior Drummer, you can even change the sustain and the attack even more detailed, so you can really fine-tune the song or the sound of the cymbals. The minor bison's medium thin crash. And they have 2 or 3 cymbals from the Botboros prototype crash series. Second slot here in the middle, you have some splash and stacked cymbals. This is the 10-inch minor bison splash. A common medium thin crash. And then China. Let's go to the right. Again, classical size, 24 Paiste giant beat right cymbal. Sustain is awesome. In contrast to that big Paiste ride, let's have a listen at those minor rides. And 2 Paiste dark rides. And this is a stacked one with a Siljan and secondary crash, as I showed a case before, 20-inch Paiste giant beat. So here we have a really contrast between your first and your second crash. Let's demonstrate this. This is a kind of the usual choose from drummers anyway, to have a classical crash cymbal as your main cymbal, main crash cymbal, and some darker tone or different tone as your secondary crash. And of course, a cowbell. We need more cowbell, as you all might know. And this is additionally cool, just the bottom head from the Paiste, really cool sound effect. Really cool stuff. But of course, those 2 guys are really, really sensational. When I first saw them, I knew what I was missing. We have timpanis finally, so let's have a listen how those guys sound. This is really cool. I immediately thought of, I think it's from Disturbed, their Sound of Silence cover recently from Simon Garfunkel, where those timpanis were used. So maybe I will give it a try later on in some of my next drum cover videos. I have to integrate them in some ways. I don't know how to do this, but I'm sure I will find a way. So let's just show you a groove within the MIDI section here. You have an own for the timpanis, so let's just play one of them. Really cool stuff. For all you guitar players out there, singer-songwriters, you just need some drum beats. So this is a cool addition to any existing drum stuff that you might already have from Toontrack. It gives a nice color and a new vibe to any song idea. Talking about some of the presets that come along, this was just the original mix, no flavor. All of those presets you can audition on Toontrack's website as well. I will show 2 of them now. What they all have in common is that they're really kind of mix ready. already. When I just load up one of them, the alternative 1 chord, you can go inside the mixer section. You have less control than in Superior Drummer. That's the reason why I usually load those samples from EZDrummer in Superior Drummer. I have slight more control over the sounds. Anyway, I mix all my songs in my DAW with my own plugins. But this is a really good starting point. You can adjust some of the levels here. This depends from preset to preset. So I will just now pick up some of the grooves that come along to give you an idea. Maybe we find something where all the instruments are happening. Let's try this one. This one sounds cool, the barking Ludwig. Wow, man, this is really, really cool. You see I'm already clipping here. Really cool stuff. Let's have a listen at another one, maybe the Dark Model Room. I think this is enough just for demonstration within the program and within those presets. Really cool stuff. As I said, when you route them out to your DAW, you can even fine-tune them more, or just simply pick the original mix, which are some kind of pre-processed in a certain way, like every EZDrummer expansion, but they are just raw enough that they react quite well to some mixing, which I want to show you right now. So let's jump into my DAW. I've prepared 2 sound examples for you. For all of my subscribers, when you remember, I think 2 or 3 weeks ago, I made a cover of Ugly Kid Joe's Everything About You, where I needed that kind of raw alternative rock sound, but I didn't know that Toontrack was going to release this one. Shame on you, Toontrack. So I picked the Metal Foundry and mixed it on my own. Maybe you can have a check at this cover as well. But what I did here to have a comparison is that I grabbed the MIDI data from my recording a few weeks ago, which I played on my eDrums. And this is the track. Hopefully I get not some issues with copyright. I removed just the vocal track. So this is just the instrumental part of Ugly Kid Joe. I've picked a preset. I don't know exactly which I chose. I think it was one of those 2. Just a preset, nothing more. What I tweaked here on the sounds, just to have a feel how those presets work in the context of the song. So let's have a listen. Could easily pick those preset up and the song was ready. Really cool, worked instantly. I didn't know that before. I just picked a preset, listened to some of them, and you see without any further tweaking or EQ or processing, this preset works instantly with that song. So really cool. As a last example, what I did here is, just like I said before, I've routed out using Superior Drummer the individual tracks. This is the original mix, so no further processing within Toontrack. Just routed them out, created the drum bus and did some basic mixing. The purpose for this example is to show you how well they react to basic mixing moves because they are so well recorded. So this is first of all just a basic loop from Superior Drummer, which I picked for this example. Just have a listen without any further processing. So basic groove. What I did here on all the channels is really nothing fancy. I've picked an EQ preset just for the kick, you know, some basic move, removing some boxiness, adding some lows, adding some highs. Probably you know those standard moves when you process some of drums. Same for the snare, removing some low ends, getting rid of some boxiness. So you see nothing special. Sometimes a compressor on the individual tracks if needed. I used, of course, some Toontrack products as well for the mono room mics and some additional processing on the drum bus where all those tracks are summed up together to give the whole drum track and performance a little more glue. Again, the amazing Fairchild compressor emulation from Waves, and finally some slight saturation for the drum. So let's have a listen. I will now play the track again, and when it starts to play I will kick in the plugin so you can have a listen, kind of a A-B. So finally, that was it for me for this review. Hope you find this one helpful. Give a big shout out to Toontrack that really did a great job with this one. Sometimes I think they have some kind of a redundant marketing policy because they're releasing a lot of great rock sounding, like we have the 70s rock and the post rock and now the alternative rock. But this one is really worth the money because you get, like I said and showed you, some really cool samples that I haven't heard before. The detail of the recording, the sound quality, having Steve Albini teamed up with this one makes this one kind of a unique sample pack. And as you have a listen on the Ugly Kid Joe track, those presets are really killer. Throw them on your tracks and you have a really decent and cool drum track. So if you have any questions regarding this product, samples in general, about my channel, leave a comment below. I appreciate that, and until that, see you next time. Bye bye.